You are listening to David Lilly on Elastic FM, sponsored by the Unique Network, an international business network with a reputation for caring and sharing, and with a home in beautiful Derbyshire.
Well, I'm pleased to be joined by Fiona Stubbs, who's editor of Pure Business magazine for North Derbyshire, based out of Chesterfield. Welcome to the Elastic FM studios in Clown.
Thanks, David.
We're talking all about your very, I have to say, impressive looking magazine that you've got in front of us. We've just been talking what it's about, and now we want to share that with some of our listeners via Elastic FM, but also via the Unique Network as well, which is full of businesses. You came along to one of our events at Van Dyke.
I did, yes.
And saw that. So, what is Pure Business magazine?
Well, Pure Business is exactly what it says. It's a magazine which goes out to businesses across North Derbyshire, and it's full of sort of business news, the hard-edged, cutting-edge stories of the moment, but also the news that businesses want us to get out there on their own behalf.
And for this area, this particular publication is relatively new.
It is. We launched in March. It's a quarterly magazine, so we've just brought out the third edition, which is the autumn-winter edition. It's had a great response so far. We cover the whole of sort of North Derbyshire, from Clown, Barbara, through North East Derbyshire, Chesterfield, into the Derbyshire Dales and into the Peak District around the Bakewell area, and we've been very well received wherever we've gone so far.
I should add that even though this is a new publication for our area, Pure Business is part of a bigger enterprise, isn't it? Tell us a bit more about that.
It is. It's part of Merit Publications, which also publish Pure Bakewell and Pure Buxton. Pure Buxton's been going for 10 years next year, and Bakewell for 5 years. They're both lifestyle magazines, so they're quite different to Pure Business. But we wanted to do a business magazine because we feel there's a lot of similar publications in Sheffield and Derby, but none of them seem to cover this area, and we felt that there's so much happening here that it deserved a magazine to reflect the diversity of businesses in North Derbyshire.
One of the things I'm keen to do as well, because this area is serviced by lots of different magazines, which I would call more advert magazines, consumer magazines, and just looking at yours from a quality, from a size, and flicking through the content's completely different. So I'm keen that the listeners understand the difference between what you're doing and what some of the other ad mags are. So talk us through some of the issues and the content type that we can find in your magazine.
Absolutely, yes. It's a news magazine, essentially. We look at the major issues. For instance, in this issue, we're looking at devolution and the battle for Chesterfield at the moment as the Borough Council plans to join the Sheffield City region, and the various issues surrounding that. There's lots and lots going on at the moment. We've also taken a look at Brexit and what that may mean for the local economy going forwards. We've got an academic, a politician, some businesses and some accountants all having a look at what it may mean for business here. Toby Perkins, the Chesterfield MP, also looks at that in his regular column. And of course another huge story at the moment is the opening of the new Derby University campus in Chesterfield, which obviously means a lot of opportunities for people locally, both sort of school leavers and business people and people already in business who may be able to tap into some of the services they're offering there.
Big subjects you're covering, Fiona. Certainly Brexit, which obviously is going to affect, it's certainly going to affect my business. For instance, I do some financial services marketing, which is governed by Financial Conduct Authority rules and something known as passporting, which right now we operate with an EU ruling, and that has been brought into question. No one quite knows how that's going to pan out. So these are very big subjects that you're covering, highly relevant to business readers.
Very relevant, yes. Yes, and we're not an ad mag. We are a proper news magazine, but on the other hand, we also do have the lighter sort of stories. We want it to be readable and we want people to enjoy it as well as to be informed. So we do have some regular features as well, from food and drink through to meeting people behind various businesses. And there's opportunities for businesses to highlight new members of staff. There's a full listings column so people can put in the events that they're organising. hopefully there's something for everybody who's interested in business.
You talk light-hearted and inspiring, and obviously one of the stories that's in there, I played a little bit of a hand in that you came along to my event and met the wonderfully inspiring Zoe Edge.
Incredible, yes.
And without giving the full story away, what did you make of meeting Zoe and finding out a little bit about her story that night?
Oh, she's incredible. She really is. I mean, inspirational is the word that sums Zoe up, and she's just got such a zest for life. And in this issue, we've covered her plans to become a model, and obviously looking at businesses who are able to help her make this dream come true. And I know a lot of businesses have been very supportive. And obviously Zoe deserves all the support she's got, and what a night that's going to be when she launches the calendar at the ProAct later this month.
I can't tell you some of the other things that she's got planned, but you might imagine once she's got through this project, she's got yet more planned.
Yes.
Watch this space. I'm sure she'll be getting in touch with the plans, one of which I think will be very high profile.
Fantastic.
So I'm teasing a little bit now. But another example of the type of coverage that you give to businesses is Claire Carhill. She's also featured in this. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, Claire, again, is quite inspirational. I saw Claire on Monday. She was telling me that people have already seen the article and hadn't realised some of the experiences that she'd had on her journey to becoming a coach and an author. I think she's got quite a story of a career struggle, of a low point in her own career, which she's then turned into a real positive, and is now able to help other people to deal with some problems they've got in their own working lives. And again, she's quite inspirational, and it's a great story. I would advise anybody to read it.
Well, I know based on her posting an image of the story on the Unique Network Facebook site, it's been blitzed with people visiting it and saying congratulations.
Fantastic.
And we've done something to measure the number of people that are then clicking through and reading the online version of the mag. So,
nice.
So the fact that you covered Claire has been good for her, and I think probably good for your brand as well.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Okay. So how can people actually find you online? Talk to us a bit about what you do online.
Online, yes, we have our own website, which is www.purebiz.co.uk. There's an e-mag on there, so you can flick read the whole magazine. There are also contact details for us there, so if anybody would like to get a copy of the magazine who we don't actually deliver to at the moment, they can request copies. We're also available in the usual channels, Twitter, Facebook, so people can reach us via those channels too. But we do deliver across the region, hand deliver to business parks and industrial estates and individual businesses. So we go to several thousand addresses at the moment. And also people can find us in cafes, restaurants, hotels, visitor centres, again throughout the region.
Thinking about some of the Elastic FM business listenership, and certainly the local Unique Network member base, you know, we are looking at the sort of Clown Bowls over Cresswell, Whitwell, Rennish, Killamarsh area.
Yeah.
What places jump out? You mentioned, I think people can collect them from Van Dyke's is one place, Van Dyke Hotel.
Van Dyke's, yes. We also deliver to the business parks here in Clown and in Bolsover. We haven't gone out to Cresswell yet, but we've been advised that we should do, so that's on the list for this current edition. We also deliver throughout the Marlborough industrial estates and business parks. So all those individual businesses will receive copies through the letterbox.
Yeah. And I think just talking to you earlier on about some of the places that you circulate, by the sounds of it, that helps you uncover stories about things that are going on in our region that are just probably not as well publicised and known about as they could be.
Yeah, that was part of the reason for us personally delivering the early editions, because for us it's very much a learning experience as well. And I must say I have become obsessed with business parks over the last few months, because it's been such an eye-opener. I've covered business before in Sheffield for the Sheffield Star and had no idea what was happening in Chesterfield. And I live in Chesterfield as well, so that was really quite shameful. But I think a lot of people, this area is quite modest in not making a big noise about its achievements. And I think there are so many amazing businesses here who deserve to have their stories told.
Have the spotlight turned on them.
Have the spotlight on them, yeah.
Which is one of the things that for the last 5 years we've been doing with the Elastic FM Community Awards.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. Which is also covered in this magazine.
Excellent.
So hopefully even more people will be learning about the awards.
One thing I'm keen to do as well is to draw out in the interview is that the publication is what I would call a business-to-business magazine. So unlike all the other ad mags that people use to get, this is not an ad mag, it's a business publication. It does have adverts in it, which we'll come on to, but you're really aiming at a business reader.
We're entirely really a business reader. We did set out to be purely business to business.
Hence the name.
Hence the name. I must say, since we've been launched and people have picked us up in cafes and hotels, we have been told you don't have to be in business to enjoy it, which is nice to hear, that people do just enjoy some of the stories in it. But we are aimed at businesses. It's an opportunity to promote and serve businesses, which I don't feel that anybody else in this area is doing on that scale. I know obviously you're doing some great work here at Elastic.
We don't have a magazine though.
But we're doing it, there's only this, we are the only magazine of this sort in this area, covering the businesses.
I'm actually writing an audio CD at the moment about marketing, and interestingly, part of that talks about the value of what some people class as old-fashioned now, which is the paper in your hand. Yeah. And I don't think it's old-fashioned. I think it's still very much got its place. You know, when I'm flying somewhere or going on a train, I like to reach into my briefcase and pull out something that I can read that's not reliant on a battery.
Definitely. We've had this question quite a bit, obviously. Yeah. I think there will always be a place for quality publications. I mean, my background's in newspapers, and obviously we all know what's happened with a lot of newspapers, which I think is very sad. But I think a magazine which looks good, which has a lot of good content in it, which has quite a long shelf life. If you think, this magazine has got 3 months shelf life, so it looks nice in a foyer for people to pick up. People do keep picking it up, passing it around. I think there's nothing nicer than sitting down with a cup of coffee and just reading good stories. No. And it does last as well. If people have advertised in the magazine, it's sticking around. So often you get things online or emails that you just haven't got time to look at, just delete. Whereas something like this is tangible, and hopefully, people will hold on to it and remember things that they see in it and act on too.
The number of times, Fiona, I'm reading something on a tablet and I think, I'll read that later. And even though there are various little tools that you can get to click and read it later, the reality is you never do.
You don't.
You never do. It just slips so far down the pecking order of the things that you've put in that list.
Yeah. And of course, there's been some studies lately saying that people are buying books again now, aren't they? Rather than going off the whole Kindle idea, people are buying vinyl and CDs rather than downloading music, and
there's a big story I think still to play out on social media, because some people are just completely addicted to their smartphones and their quality of relationship with their wife, their children, their family, their friends.
Definitely.
You see people now going out for a meal and
they're
looking at their phone, not at each other. It's very sad.
No, it's a very strange world at the moment that we live in, but I do think there will always be places for quality publications.
Coming around to advertising, the publication does have advertising. I have to say there's a really lovely balance. Just seeing you flick through the magazine now, yes, there are adverts, but it's not literally peppered with them. But the adverts give businesses an opportunity to talk to other businesses about their services. So what exposure can a business buy in your magazine?
A business can buy whatever exposure it would like. We do from small ads from £150 through to full pages. We also have what we call a business package, where a business can buy a full page at a heavily discounted rate and have a page of editorial, and then 3 follow-on quarter-page display ads in subsequent issues, which is, again, a massively discounted rate and is proving very popular because, you're right when you say there's a good balance of editorial and adverts. We hear that all the time. People don't want to just see adverts. And so the magazine is very editorially led to start with, but people can literally buy editorial stroke advertorial, which gives them a great exposure to people. People love to read the stories, and everybody has got a story. Quite often a business will say, I don't know what to say, I haven't got a story, and you're like, well, you have, everybody has. And we can help them find the story, write it for them, and then the rest is up to them how they go about it with their own customers. But we can help from writing the stories to the advert design. We can do design.
And if someone wants to explore the various different advertising options, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
The easiest way for them is to go to the website. We have the media pack on there, so all the rates, all the options are there, and there are so many options to choose from. There really should be something for everybody. Or they can give us a call. All our phone numbers are on the website, in the magazine as well, so they can give us a call, talk over their needs. We'll be happy to tailor a package to suit them.
Well, we're delighted on two levels, both from an Elastic FM perspective to have some form of alliance with you where we carry on helping each other, but also from a Unique Network perspective, more than happy to continue to give positive exposure to a superb publication.
Fantastic, thanks David.
So thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us today.
Pleasure, thank you.
You are listening to David Lilly on Elastic FM, sponsored by the Unique Network, an international business network with a reputation for caring and sharing, and with a home in beautiful Derbyshire.